Anyone else know anything about Karabag? Yeah.
Yeah, I actually do.
Here we go. Come on, Haz.
We did actually play them, didn't we, before in the Champions League?
Yeah, I think we have. Yeah.
Under Poch, it was like the easiest of the ties, supposedly. I think they were the only ties we won, if I remember correctly. In the groups, because we had Karabag, Monaco, and who was the other team? I can't my head now. I think it's the season we got back in the Champions League. They were in our group.
I'm looking at their seasons going back to 2013, the 2013-2014 season, all the way through last season, and they win their league every year except for the 2020-2021 season. They came in second. Otherwise, they come in first. So they're
Azerbaijan, isn't it? Yeah.
All right,
it's still got to be respected.
Right, back. Keep the pressure on Haz here. Galatasaray. Tell us what you know about Galatasaray.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, no, hang on. This is a specialist subject. It's next door to where you're from, hasn't
it? Yeah. But Galatasaray obviously are like the first or second best team in Turkey. And Galatasaray actually has some really good players in the years. They had Drogba for a while. They had Schneider. That's two I think on top of my head. Going to Turkey away, it's going to be a tough match. Honestly, it's probably one of the toughest games we have. They're actually ultras, isn't it? So
yeah.
It's
Can you remember?
I wouldn't put it this way. I wouldn't put Gray in that game.
Can you remember the year that the Spurs, when Mourinho was here, the Spurs documentary? They had to go to Turkey, didn't they, in a European game? I forget, was it Fenerbahce or something? And it was
Fenerbahce, I think. It was
and they said like that there was fireworks, and they were like there was people like shouting outside the hotel. They were setting off fireworks because they found out where the team was staying. It's a little bit different when you go to these places.
Actually, not as. Yeah, so it's not going to be an easy game, but
no.
Phil, what do you know about Galatasaray? Okay.
I think he's froze.
Al, what do you know about Galatasaray? Anything?
They've got Wilfred Zaha. They have Hakeem Ziyech.
Yeah.
Are you Googling this?
Well, I'm looking at their current squad.
That's allowed. Keeps the conversation going. Come on.
I'm looking at their current squad. I remember they had a pretty good team last year. They have Mario Icardi. They've got quite a number, and they have Davinson Sanchez.
Oh, of course. Right.
I didn't even know that.
Maldini when we play against them, probably then.
I think that's where he went after we sold him, was to Galatasaray, I believe.
Phil, what do you know about Galatasaray?
They're a hostile crowd. I know that. They got some tricky players with Dries Mertens and Zaha. I think Zaha is going out of the club though. From what I heard, I don't know if he's going to be going tonight, but he was linked to someone heavily in the last couple of days, so I don't know if he's going to go out tonight. But yeah, if he stays, he's a tricky winger. Obviously, we know all about him in the Premier League. And Icardi, he's a seasoned striker. So it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be a tough game, that is. Like I say, it's going to be probably the toughest fixture in the group.
Yeah, I mentioned here about Puskas again, and like that famous front three at Real Madrid, Di Stefano, Puskas, and Gento in the 60s. Yeah, Galatasaray. Yeah, I don't know very little about them apart from the hostile crowd, and that English supporters gone there, been on the receiving end of quite a few stabbings. You know that. And
was it Leeds United?
Yeah, a couple.
It was a Leeds fan, wasn't
it? Man United as well.
Yeah. I'm glad you missed me out, Adrian, because all I could have said is in Turkey.
Yeah, I know it's in Turkey. Apparently, they have grounds 2 minutes from the beach by phone. Yeah.
I don't know who their manager is though.
No.
Wouldn't tell me.
Yeah, there are lunatics out there, aren't they? They're mad about their football, though. Okay, so no, I know you're going to clean up the airheads. Elfsborg, come on, Swedish side, come on.
Well, Bergvall's Swedish, Kulusevski Swedish.
Yeah,
ABBA.
yeah.
And that's all I got.
That's all you've got. Probably more than Phil. Come on, Phil. What do you know about Elfsborg? Come on.
You took my thunder, man. You've took my thunder there. You are.
I think you should have all our answers.
I've got nothing else to say, really, other than.
I mean, they got really pretty women.
Do you know anything about them?
I know nothing about Elfsborg. No.
Don't they make Saab cars? Do they make Saab cars in Sweden?
Yes.
Oh,
what they used to, because Saab went bust. It closed down years ago. Saab shut down years ago. This is when Top Gear was on. Before they started the Grand Tour, Top Gear did a thing. So it's got to be years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the only thing I know about Sweden.
They walk everywhere now, then, or what?
No. But the only thing I know about Sweden is allegedly it's a very lovely country. I'd like to go there.
Swedish. Volvo Swedish.
Yes. I would like to go there because apparently the fishing is superb.
I had a theory of how to actually cure London's traffic jams, right? All you had to do really was take the bumpers off the Volvos, right? You'd have plenty of room for every car on the road, right? Did you ever used to see them Volvos with them great big bumpers on them?
You've just stopped me in my track talking all my knowledge of Sweden. Knowledge of Sweden.
Meatballs, smorgasbord, come on.
Yeah, that chef bloke that was on the Muppets.
Oh yeah, and if you want to speak Swedish, Swedish chef, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to speak Swedish, all you do is it's B's and D's and D's and B's. So you go beady dooby beady dooby beady dooby dooby dooby.
Isn't IKEA Swedish?
Solanke's no, he's of Nigerian descent.
Yeah, thanks to know, Chris. I can't remember, but we definitely played in the Champions League. Yeah.
Yeah. So, have I missed any of you out on Elfsborg? I don't even know where it is. I mean, like,
it's probably
Sweden. Whole place anyway.
All I know is they meant to have really pretty women. That's the only knowledge I have.
Well, allegedly. I've never seen any films with like Swedish women in.
And apparently snow's free as well.
Yes.
What I will say though is that they're 20 games into their season at the moment. So.
Season finished.
Because they stop, don't they? Because it gets cold up. It gets cold and dark up there from about November onwards. It stays dark for about 3 months.
Yeah.
They're currently fifth in their league at the minute.
Yeah. They have no electricity bills for 6 months of the year because they don't have to turn the light on, and another half of the year cost them a fortune.
Yeah. Well, and I know these like Scandinavian countries like Sweden, Norway. It was definitely Norway. If you go to Norway, any alcohol costs you an absolute mint. Because
don't go then. My tip is don't go.
No, because in the times where it stays dark for like 2 or 3 months, depends which part of the country you're in, they had the highest suicide rate because people would just get depressed. Go to the pub. Yeah. If you go to Norway, I know it's definitely Norway. If you go to Norway, a pint of lager, say it's about the equivalent in euros, is like 30 quid.
Iceland as well. Iceland.
Yeah, it's because everyone used to get depressed because it stays dark in these places.
Why would you want to go to a country called Iceland anyway? It's just not an inviting name, is it?
Oh, apparently that's very beautiful.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Greenland, Northern Lights, isn't it?
You get nice volcanoes, don't they? And like,
yeah.
Okay. Right, Mark, you're going to clean up this time. Hoffenheim, come on, mate. You can do this.
Now, I know they're in Germany, obviously. Unless I've got that wrong as well.
Good start.
Yes, there's one fact I've got correct. And the only thing, I did see Harry Kane. It was on Sky Sports News Was it yesterday or the day before? He's at Oktoberfest, and they were all holding steins of lager. I was like, "You jammy, so and so." Like allegedly, it's like Oktoberfest over there at the moment. Why they have it in August, I don't know. But that is. But Hoffenheim, I don't watch Bundesliga either. Surprise, surprise. I know nothing about it. Where did they? Well, they must have finished like 4th or 5th or something in their league last year.
7th.
To get in. Where did they? Oh, they had the extra place, didn't they? Was it the German league got awarded the extra place?
Yeah, because they run.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Harmless Potatoes helping me out. Hoffenheim is like the German Brighton, small but well-run club. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's my. Thank you, Mr. Spud. Help me out.
Alan, what do you know about Hoffenheim?
Not a whole lot. I watched a lot of Bayern Munich last season. Because of Harry Kane, and I watched them beat Bayern Munich in the last game of the season 4-2. So I know that they're a team that can beat bigger teams. They seem like they're going to be the dark horse team because just like with Brighton, I guess on their day they could take on anybody, and it has me a little concerned. We're playing them in Germany, so it has me a little more concerned, I think. If we were playing at home, I'd probably feel a little bit more confident, but we're playing away at Hoffenheim, so we need to really show up to that game.
Phil, are you frozen or you're all right? Phil?
He's frozen, I think.
Right.
No, he's back.
He's back. Phil? Hoffenheim, what do you know? Anything?
I think you're on mute.
You're muted, Phil. No, you're not. No, you are. No, you're not.
Can you hear me now? Hoffenheim, not a lot, to be honest. The only player that I know who plays for him is Kramaric. I don't know if you know. He used to play in the Premier League. But that's all I know about him, really. Sorry.
That's all right. No,
that's more than I said, Phil.
Yeah. Az, what do you know about Hoffenheim?
Well, apart from the fact they're German, didn't Session go on loan there, or was it someone else?
Sessignon did, yeah.
Yeah, he went on loan there for a season.
Ah, see? All I know is that they're in Germany and that we were at war with them. I mean, you must remember the war. It was in all the papers, the war, anyway. Lots of,
Allegedly.
it was awful, apparently. Yeah. But
all these teams mentioned, Adrian, I mean, we've got to give them respect. We have to give them respect. I know
we all laugh at them,
saying we don't.
Right, let's just run through them
and stuff like that. But
let's run through them as we've give those in the chat some wonderful information. I mean, about these teams. Let's run through them. So it's Rangers away, Roma home, Alkmaar home, Ferencváros away, Karabag away, Galatasaray away, Elfsborg home, Hoffenheim home. So, I mean, surely the qualifiers are going to be Spurs and Roma, aren't they? Was
Hoffenheim at home? I thought they were away.
No, because that's not how it works, right? Isn't it? You have to be in the top 8 to get automatic qualification.
I think the top 2 from each. Oh, it's one of these, isn't it? Top 2 from each group go through.
Yes.
There's a player from a player from teams 19 to 24. They play off to make up the numbers. We won't be in that, surely. You know what I mean?
Isn't it a league though?
It's a league format, isn't it?
Yeah, there's 4. These were drawn from 4 teams of 9, right? So I think all the teams. So if you've got 8 teams automatically go through to the knockout round, right? You're going to need another 8 teams, aren't you, to make up 16?
No, isn't it what the top 8 and then the 16 off them play each other?
No, I think teams 19 to 24 play each other. Teams. I'm not sure what teams 19 to 24 is exactly. Yeah, I think they play each other.
I'm sure
to make up the next group of 8. right?
Yeah, I'm sure there's 8 or 9 teams that go
Hang
into
on,
the
we play
qualifying.
8
Thank
games.
you. Thomas Potato
And then-
explained it better.
The
than
first
me.
8. Hang on, yeah, harmless potato. The last comment that's on there.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to read it and say that I knew, but
Mhm.
like it's been
No,
spoiled.
the reason I know about this because you know, when I disappeared for 5 minutes, my dad called me to ask me about how it worked and I explained to him. That's why.
It's the 9th to 24. I thought
So that's
it
why
was
it's on my head straight away.
Hang
So-
on, let's just read it. It's a 36 team league.
It is, yeah.
We play 8 games. The first 8 get a wild card.
They go
And so
through.
is that
They go
and
through.
so yeah, and so if you're and so obviously there's 36 teams and we're all in one league, yeah? Am I understanding this?
yeah.
No, then
We're all in
the 36. You know the 4 groups of 9 that were before the draw today? They
But
were
it's
the
not
36.
4 groups. It's not
There's
4
no more
groups
groups,
of
Adrian.
9.
It's the league.
No, it's not 4 groups of 9
No, when
because
the draw was made today, it's from
I think
4
about the
groups
pot.
of
I
9.
think it's about the
No,
pot.
they're the fixtures. They're the 8 fixtures
yeah,
that we
that
play.
that
And
was the
then-
fixtures.
And
And
then
so I
Yeah,
take it.
yeah.
That gives the 8 teams. So that the top 2 teams, like
No,
so
no,
whoever
No,
finishes-
Adrian, you're wrong. From what I've got from this, it's a 36 team league basically,
Yeah,
and the fixtures were
that's pretty much
drawn
what
out,
it is. That's what
right?
it is.
And the top 8 get
Qualify,
through to the next round.
Top 8
And
and 9, yeah.
ninth to 24 are in a playoff,
They play
and
like
25
randomly, I guess,
and
each other.
25 to 36 are eliminated.
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
right.
that's how it works. Yeah.
Where it's a 2-leg game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
The 8 go into the round of 16.
Yeah, and I guess they might do a.
And then they all meet. And then they all
Yeah.
meet. Yeah.
Yeah.
After that.
So what it does, it encourages you to make sure you win all your games because you're not in a league.
Yes.
You're not in a league of 8. You're in the
No.
36 team league.
You're not in a
So-
group.
Yeah.
Right.
And so really, what I think they're trying to do with this is sort of nullify the sort of dead rubber games when
Yeah.
you've already qualified and you just chuck all the
And it's
kids
the
in.
same format for the Champions League as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. That's exactly the same.
You know what? I really miss the straight knockout games when you just play knockouts till you
Yeah.
win the tournament.
Yeah, but
Well, that's
the
what
point
it was.
is less games and no money. You look at it this way, Has normally last year you'd be in a group of 4. You'd play 6 games, 3 home and 3 away against 3 teams. Now you're playing a minimum of 8, so you're playing 2 extra games. All right, only 1 extra home game, but that's 6 mil to Spurs or whatever, or 4. Or might it be less money? One, it might be 3 or 4 mil to Spurs, right? You know, for that. So it's more money. It's like it's just to seduce the teams to not want to break away in a Super League. They're trying to generate more money to give more
Yeah, that's
money
what it is.
to stop them breaking away. And well, it'll work for a period of time till someone comes up with some new competition. Because basically, what the European team's goal was, they envy the Premier League, and if they could entice British clubs into a different league, they would break the stranglehold that the Premier League has on world football and the money it generates.
Yeah. If you want to go to Graham's comment, it's like hang on, 3 down.
Mm-hmm.
That one. That's the way I understand it. It's a
Yep.
36 team league, right? And so if you finish in the top 8, if you're in the top 8,
Yeah,
you're
grand.
through, and then 9 to
24.
24. So how many teams is that? What's that?
16.
16. They'll play off against each other, and then that makes another 8, and then you'll have the last 16.
That's how I
You
took
know
it.
what I mean? Yeah. That's how I see it. And a lot of this is to make teams take it seriously and play every game to win. So there's no dead rubbers or dead games.
But then what
No.
can they just do?
Transfer
I
news,
know Adrian said you can't do it that way. I was just saying straight knockouts, but they can't do it that way anymore.
No,
There'd be less
no.
games, as I mean, this is why they like to seed teams, because ideally they want the better teams to go through, which create bigger crowds and generate more money and more people paying, don't they? That's what they want. I mean, yeah.
If you go to the
It's
next
like
comment,
Sterling's gone to Arsenal, I think.
yeah. If you go to the next comment down, Adrian, Graham, I'm not sure. I don't know if goal difference comes into
No,
it.
it will because it's a league. So
Yeah,
therefore,
well, it probably will do, but I can't say that I know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can you imagine you're
I
like
don't
the
know
8th,
for sure.
9th team between 8th and 9th? They'll probably be
Yeah.
us trying to
Well, yeah.
between 8th and 9th.
Well, to be honest, with the 36 teams that I saw, there's no reason why we can't be in the top 2 or 3. It'll be us and Man United up there. I would have thought. Yeah, well, you'd like to think so. Well, maybe Roma.
You got Juventus.
What I
got
want
Juventus
is
in there.
Ange's European record, because Ange apparently won 6, drew something, and lost 9 or something. I was reading.
Yeah, but he was with Celtic, and Celtic never do very well. With all due respect to Celtic, they never do very well in the Champions League.
So
I know it was something I read about. And
even when you look about it, I mean, as you say, to give people game time, so there aren't going to be any dead rubbers. I thought there might be. We'd give youngsters games, so I was wrong on that. But if you weigh it up, look, 16 teams are going to qualify out of 36. That's almost half. There's only another 2, and it'd be half the teams qualifying. 16. If we can't qualify for the knockout stage of this competition,
we don't deserve to be in it in the first place.
Exactly.
I just feel like people think it's going to be very straightforward, and it won't.
Well, yeah, it never is with Tottenham.
I'm sure we'll go and lose away to Karabag or something, or Fenerbahce, whatever is it, Fenerbahce?
Yeah,
some random team or something.
There'll be some nonsense chucked in there at some stage.
Yeah, it's never easy with us.
No.
Right.
Anyway, has anyone got a TV on in the back? Have we signed anyone yet?
No, I told you I haven't watched 1 minute deadline day. So
can you hear me?
Weren't they talking about Johnny Cardozo?
Yeah. But that's not even a proper deal, because all we did was just supposedly it's almost like we bought a stock in him, because if we don't sign him, when he gets sold on, we'll get some percentage or something. But then if we want to sign him, we have the first option to sign him.
Yeah,
so I don't really
like first dibs, isn't it? It's like we got first dibs on him. Yeah.
So I haven't really signed him. We just kind of I don't know. I don't even know what we did.
Right.
Well, that's a good point that Harmless Potatoes put in. Win all the home games, then we're 100% qualified.
Yeah, it's good as. I mean, like when you we're going to be looking across like them four groups, aren't we, of 8 teams? I mean, like it's not going to be worth looking till after 4 games have been played, really, to see who's got. But we won't have to, will we? Our only concern should be looking at us, really. If we do what we have to do. I mean, I think it's a good group. To have Roma at home is good. They won't want to come to us. Rangers away, Scottish Alkmaar at home again. Like away to the Hungarians, don't know much about them. Karabag, we've beaten them before. Galatasaray away. Yeah, there you've got to play the crowd, haven't you, more than the team?
I'll be honest, you got to feel sorry for Rangers, because when Rangers ball come out the thing, they got to play us and Man United.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Are they playing United away then, or is that home?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I think they will win it, because we, in that first part, where there was 9 balls, I think, we were the 7th one to come out, I think. Because I was on the phone to you, Adrian, wasn't I? And like when the draw was going on.
Yeah.
And I think Rangers was the first ball to come out. Or the first or second.
Just a bit of transfer news. Sterling is probably going to Arsenal.
Was it done now? Is it personally done?
I
like him as a player.
Looking like that.
This is I remember AC Milan, I think, doing it back in the day. They used to buy all these players just to park them so as no one else could get them.
But I think they'll probably use them as cover for Saka.
Yeah.
More like
or the wing, because they got Trossard and Martinelli. Obviously, Jesus is injured anyway, and they got.
He does take his player on, I mean, like
and Sterling, I guess now as their front line.
But then our ex-player Madueke, I mean, like
he's ripping it up now, and he's tearing it up. He was on fire last week against Wolves.
Have Newcastle not got Elanga then? Because he's one that was.
No, I don't think Forest are letting him go.
They couldn't get Gueye either. They've struggled to get players in Newcastle. I mean, we know they've got Tonali back because his band's over and
he's
things
a good
like
player.
that. Yeah.
Tammy Abraham as well. He used to play for Rome, where he's gone to Milan.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he's sees a lot of some of these strikers that come through. They flatter to see them, and when you look at the young Man United striker that went to Arsenal and went to Brighton. Oh, what's his name? The
Welbeck.
Welbeck.
Yeah.
He looked like he was going to be a sensation when I first seen him. He was quicksilver like Robbie Keane, but he couldn't finish like Robbie Keane.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
He's doing all right this season.
And even Tammy Abrahams wasn't a great finisher either. He needed loads of chances to bury one away. And when we were interested,
like that Jackson at Chelsea.
But we'll see, won't we? We may eat our words as the season goes on. Who knows?
Can I just answer some comments in the chat?
Sure, go on, answer the comments. Go on. Let's go.
The Alex Scott experience. Does anyone know who we signed? Absolutely nobody at the moment. So there's one.
Cordoso looks like we've got an option to buy him probably at the end of the season. That's
if we don't buy him and then they sell him on in the future, we get some money from it. That's how.
Well, that's just a waste of time, isn't it? And Peter as well. I believe Peter's a paramedic or something in Australia. Unless I got the wrong one.
Hi, Alex. Let's go through these chat. Hi, Alex is in the chat. Alex Scott. Hi, Just a Harmless Potatoes. Chris Peters is a mod, one of our mods. Does some sterling work, posting everyone's links. Just a Harmless Potato, regular in here now. Philly 2109, welcome to our chat. I mean, I'm not sure if I've seen you before. If I've missed you, I apologise. Pete Kahagis, he's always in, Australian guy, excellent support.
Yeah, is he the
friend of the channel? Good friend of the channel. Graham.
Is that Peter the paramedic who works like nights? Yeah, he works nights. Yeah, big up you, mate.
He's always in the chat,
TV. Colin from Talking Ball, Gary Paul Speed, Kev Clark. We know obviously he's the father of Tom, zookeeper, who's come on. Meet him under the South Stand at the end of some games just to say hello. All their Artisan a regular, Destiny 5 a regular. Quez Ali's come and joined us, which is good. Seen him before. So
what's the point as well?
Watching, but we're not too bothered about that because we're gradually growing quite nicely as it happens. And
what's the point, FC as well? Has the Tottenham Toys R Us transfer window closed yet? That's
and I mean, like, because every podcast under the sun will be doing a deadline day transfer show today. So,
praying for something, pretty much. Yes.
Well, we'll come to that later after we discuss
Newcastle.
We'll discuss Jimmy Cordoza, who I watched the video of today and all that. We'll do that start. If you've got any questions in the chat, please post them, football related, and we'll start them because we are going up to 11 o'clock tonight minimum. So
no personal ones, obviously.
So we need something to talk about.
Yeah. It's like I said, I've expected so little that I haven't even got the telly on because I was going to sit at a weird angle so I could see the TV. But it's like I said, I watched it for 3 hours. They didn't even go to the poor person at. I don't know what you're laughing about. I watched it for 3 hours.
I blame myself because I said something on like X saying something like, that we're running a college.
It is. It's like a. It is. It's like a drop-in centre now.
I don't know what's happening with Regulon.
It doesn't like he's going at the moment because apparently
Madison
went in for him and we didn't agree or something. That I can't remember who it was. There was a report earlier from Fabrizio saying that someone went in for him. Right. Spurs didn't agree the deal and then they've gone for someone else. But I can't remember who the club was.
Oh,
let's move on to the preview of Newcastle. Phil, your team and Angie's team. We always give you a choice of both. I don't see Johnson getting in one of these teams.
You'd be surprised.
Not my pick anyway. You probably know that by now. But my team would be obviously the back fix itself. Van der Ven looks like he's going to be fit enough to play, which is great news. And then the midfield, I would play Benton Core.
Is he fit? Oh, he's fit, isn't he?
He's fit now. And and I would play Basuma as well. And then I'd probably play Maddison, to be honest with you. But I do think Bergvall's on the cusp of getting a start. For me, anyway. I don't know for Ange. That would be my midfield. I Odobert on the right with Sonny left, and well, it would have to be Sonny up front, wouldn't it? Because Richarlison and Solanke aren't playing, so it'll be Sonny and Kulu, probably. Kulu on the right and Odobert on the left. For Ange's pick, I think it'll be something similar, to be honest with you.
Has?
I'll tell you Ange's team first because that's pretty simple. Same back line because Van der Ven apparently is okay. I think he'll go with the same midfield as the last game. It'll be Kulusevski, Maddison, and Basuma because he doesn't tend to change it when we win games. And then obviously Johnson, I still think will play, and Sonny because obviously Richarlison and Solanke aren't back anyway, and Odobert. That's what I think he will play. Now, what I would do is something completely different. I'd play obviously the same back five because we don't really have anyone else. And then I'd play Basuma, Bentancur, and Maddison, the same midfield three as Phil. But I do something different up the front. I'd put Kulusevski as the false nine, and I'd put Son on the left and Odobert on the right. And what I'd tell Kulusevski to do is to drop in, like Firmino used to do at Liverpool, and then tell Son to tuck in and Odobert to tuck in. Or if he wanted to carry on playing wide, Odobert can play wide. But I think it'll give us a bit of a different dynamic as a front line because you have Odobert, who's like the pure winger, Kulusevski, who can come drop in and play as a 10 and help Maddison out.
I've just seen that comment.
And what it is with Kulusevski, because he can drop in, it will allow Son to tuck in and play in a bit, basically a more preferred position for him as an inside forward / actual forward. So that's what I would do. I don't think Andrew would do anything like this. I
was thinking pretty similar to what you were gonna what you're picking as. But I switched it up with Sonny because he scored in the last game. So I think we need to sort of have him going in behind, basically.
One worry with playing Son in the middle, especially away to Newcastle, is he struggled there last season. But also, it's just we need, in my opinion, someone tall and strong there.
Hold it up.
I think a lot of their centre backs are injured. I think Botman's out. And then I think Fabian Schär's out as well.
But it doesn't really matter. I still think we need like a really tall, strong player there because we're going to be so many instances in that game where we're just going to need to just lump it out. Not that we will, but we need to lump it out. Yeah. And someone like Kulusevski
keep coming back is what you say.
Yeah. At least Kulusevski, he's strong in the sense he'll hold the ball up. But I just don't like him playing on the right. I think he might hold it up, but I think he'll just, as you know, I don't see him as a winger, and I think he'll just go into traffic. When he's playing in the middle last game, at least he had a lot more freedom. But I think if he plays as a false nine, he has the option to drop in and also the option to drop up. If we need someone to play, like if we leave him up there, in some instances, someone to just hit. Because obviously we don't have a Charleston option, we don't have the Solanke option. So this is kind of make do with what we got. So that's what I would do. It's not orthodox, I guess, because I've literally said I want Son to tuck in, him to drop when they play, and Odobert to play as a proper winger to give us a bit of a different option dynamic in the front line. But
with them three, they can sort of interchange.
Anyway. I know.
Do you know what I mean? Kulu can go right, over left, Sonny, so they can interchange sort of mid-game. But
But I think also Kulusevski being there in some instances where they might have us pinned. And I said we could use him as an outball, but also he has the option to drop in as like an extra midfielder.
Yeah.
To make like four midfield, because I know Newcastle it's going to be a cauldron there anyway. I mean, it's never an easy game away to Newcastle. So I'd rather have more options to drop in That's why I put Decky in the middle. That's what I would do, and then it will allow Son to actually like drop into the forward position when he drops, or just tuck in more because he'll drop because that's been naturally drop deeper, I think. So, yeah.
Alan, your team or Angie's team, if it's different?
I think it's going to be the same. I think it would be the team that played against Everton, and if Bentancur isn't back, let's say for concussion protocol or whatever, I could see him putting in Saar, Bergwall. But otherwise, I think that, someone said it here that it was a winning side. I think it was a strong side without Solanke. I think that's probably our strongest side. So I want to see that on Sunday.
Mark, your teams?
Well, yeah, it's going to be the same back five. I'd put Bissouma in because he did well against Everton. All right, it was only Everton. We know their pants. But, yeah, Biss, Matters, yeah, toss-up really, in it. Bentancur, yeah, stick Benson there. And then, like, we've obviously got no strikers because both of them, like, are injured. Well, to be honest, is Richarlison ever fit? That's the question you got to ask. Richarlison is injured, but in all fairness, is he ever fit? I bet if Brazil were playing, he'd be fit. But we won't go into that. I'd stick Son in the middle. Odegaard. Well, this is Ange's team. We all know he's going to play Johnson on the right. We all know this because I told you the last stream, Adrian. I believe he's got pictures of Ange naked with kangaroos. He must have.
Okay, he's blackmailing him, yeah? Okay, fine.
Well, he's got to have some incriminating evidence on him. Because to be honest, anyone with half a brain would have dropped him by now. Because he's useless, to be honest. And I always used to defend him. I always used to say, "Oh, he's all right. He'll come good. But I've given up that now. No, complete waste.
I think Brian Daigle still got some hope for him, though. To be fair,
I did have hope for him, but no, it's gone now. I mean, to be honest,
it's to do with our setup as well, though, because Johnson actually played as more of a second striker at Forest.
Yes, I know he did. Yeah. Even though he cooked Arsenal on the right, didn't he?
Yeah. But he missed that chance, though, to be fair, in that game.
Yeah, in the FA Cup game when Forest beat him, like he cooked them down the right-hand side. And I think, because let's face it, we bought him on a couple of televised games in the UK that was on the BBC or ITV, whatever they were on, and he was flying in both of them.
But they were watching Johnson for like 2 years before we signed him.
Oh.
They really liked him, yeah.
Oh.
I was told by someone, someone to call me up. I don't understand name any names because I don't get into trouble. But it's a credible source, put it that way. But he called me after the Richarlison game when he did that. Yeah. He goes, Spurs really like Brennan Johnson and blah 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 blah. I was hearing this for like 2 years, and then Ange came in, and obviously there was this Johnson with Forest and the FFP thing, and that's when I think they thought they'd make their move then, and then it just happened.
Yeah. Yeah, well, to be honest, that's Ange's team. Johnson would be in there, but I certainly wouldn't play him there. I'd do what House said. Kulu is the false 9, Son on the left, and I'd put Odegaard out on the right. Because let's face it, Adrian, you just as well play right wing instead of Brady, or get me up there or something.
Adrian flying down the right instead of Johnson.
You might get a game, yeah.
I will say, though, it's probably the best time to play Newcastle at the moment. Well, that's they haven't been on great form and they have got a load of injuries, so it's probably a good time to play them at any time.
Phil, surely we need a reality check, don't we, us Spurs fans? Because an instant coffee or something, we got an instant fix with Odegaard. Suddenly he's the new Messiah, isn't he? Suddenly, for a game in which
I wouldn't say that, Adrian. I'm just thinking.
I haven't said that either.
To me, it was an okay performance. It wasn't an outstanding, sensational performance, and now everyone wants him in the team.
But Adrian, would you rather have Johnson or Odegaard?
There are better options. That's not a fair question. Well, I'll ask the question, all right. That's not a fair question, right? Because
Or turbo. Or turbo.
Or Turbo Wiener.
Yeah, turbo wiener.
No,
You know what I
because
mean?
I play Decky there because we're away from home for the hold-up play. But Phil, this Odebert, he's gained gravitas quite quickly. One performance with good link-up play with Madison, got to admit that. But it wasn't a sensational performance. He shows he's got skill. For the little that I've ever seen of him, I know he got 4 goals last year for Burnley and had one season within the Premier League. So he's Premier League proven with a poor Burnley side. But whether or not he's got the quality to take us forward, we don't know yet, do we? So the clamour for him to play. Are you surprised by that? Or do you think our fans are desperate?
Yeah,
Who's your playing instead, Adrian? I don't understand.
Well, let Phil answer the question, and I'll come back to that then. Go on, Phil.
Okay.
The clamour for Odebert,
To be honest, I don't know.
It's risen exponentially on a just an average game, really. Sorry, Mark,
Yeah, I don't know where the is this all on X or Twitter where all the comments and bigging him up, because I don't really go on the Twitter and stuff, so I haven't heard any bigging him up quite a bit, but I thought he had an okay game. It wasn't the greatest, but he certainly does more to affect games than Johnson does. So I'll be inclined to definitely start him in the Newcastle game. But I haven't heard anything about being like you're saying, Adrian. To be honest with you, even on YouTube, I haven't really seen that. So that must be on Twitter and X, where I don't go on it. So
no, I don't.
Another option, though, I guess, could be to put Spencer right back and push Porro up, but he's never done it. So
you could play Werner.
No. We're not playing
shoehorning people in.
Or you could. He probably played tonight, and I don't know the result of the under-21s. But other than that,
I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule it out.
Mikey Moore.
No,
Werner.
Yeah, well,
you think you put in Werner?
Odebert had a good
He could take Daki out, and Werner left and Sonny up top. It wouldn't surprise me. Like.
Johnson on the right.
Yeah.
Johnson on the right.
Yeah,
Odebert was really only good for one half. Who would we sub in for a second half on the left or the right? Which way you want to go?
Well, it'd have to be Turbo Timo, wouldn't it? He'd have to come in on the left. And to be honest, right now, I've been saying this for a while now. I do think Johnson against a tiring defence would be half sensible. I'm not saying he'd be brilliant as an impact sub. Yes. Bring him on and get him to run at him. But
Decky could play on the left though. He's left-footed.
He could play on the left. Although I think on the wings, he just lacks the speed. I like him in the middle. I think he does a really good job. He's physical. He knows how to advance play up front. And I just think on the wing we need more speed than what he has.
I think he's gained a bit of appreciation for his 4 assists and 3 goals pre-season. I know they're only pre-season games, but having people seen him in that 9-10 role, or as an 8, really, he's like a hybrid 8-10, really, to me on there. He's just got that vision where, even Basuma's goal against QPR, the flick through, he's got 2 goals with quickness of thought and flick. Could you imagine Richarlison doing that? It's not going to happen, is it? It's not going to happen. He's just got.
We're not putting him in positions like on the wing. It's not playing to his strengths. Even though you think he's left-footed, it would work. He just doesn't have the. It's not like you're putting someone like Bale there or Lennon or someone with pace. It's not going to work. And inside, it gives him a bit more freedom to kind of use his feet and wiggle through players. Like you mentioned, Adrian, about the hybrid 8-10, which you kind of got spot on with that actually. Because I see him as I think he has like the highest progressive carries or something. Someone told me. So
And he
playing
has
in
the
the
most
middle makes sense
incursions.
if he can carry the ball
He had
up
the
from
most
deep.
incursions into the penalty area than any
Yeah.
player. And he had
Yeah.
a poor season. Even Ian said, look, had a poor season last season, he said, but he still scored 8 goals, which was more than Vernon Johnson. Johnson got 5 and 7 assists, which isn't bad for a youngster. So I'm still hopeful. I don't throw players completely under the bus or under the bus until they leave the club, basically, right? Because I just don't do that. So there is hope. I mean, let's talk about. I mean, Johnson, guys. I mean, like, let's talk about him a little while. I mean, like, you're not a bad footballer to come through your academies, work your way through. He did well at Forest in the Championship, scored goals for them in the Premier League as well. Played more alongside a striker, a bit more central. He has got tremendous pace, which we want to see him use it to beat players. But a lot of wing play now is overloads down the side and bypassing the defender, so you don't have to take him on and then get across him and all that. I mean, Ange must see something in this kid in training, surely.
No, I think he's got his spot. I think Mark's got his spot on.
You think so?
Yeah. He's got incriminating evidence.
Incriminating
against
evidence.
him.
He's got some
incriminating
sadomasochistic coaches or pictures
yeah.
or ones with bestiality or something
No.
like that.
No. What you just said, Adrian, about throwing him under the bus, I haven't thrown him under the bus, but I'm saying, as a so-called big club, we should be in the position that if he's not performing, his place should be taken by somebody else. But unfortunately, we don't act like a big club, and we've got nobody else that will take his place.
Yeah, my complaint when he come, as I
Who's he
would
gonna
say
against,
the
Dan
same
Burn?
with, I would have said the same with Bergvall and Gray as well. I mean, at least Slanky and Odegaard are Premiership proven. Slanky's had a good few seasons, whether you think he's good enough or not.
Well, Odegaard's 19, mind. He's hardly Premiership
He
proven.
had one come through the PSG.
How many games did he play for Burnley last year? I know he got 4 goals. I read.
Yeah, I don't. About 19. Someone said to me.
For half the games, and yeah.
But it might be. I mean, that could be totally wrong. I mean, you'd have to Google it. And find out. I don't know. I can't.
The problem is with our wing options is that number one, Odegaard's our only official traditional winger, I'd say, from what we have.
Dribbler.
Sorry?
Dribbler, you would say.
Yeah, but that's what I would define as a winger. Johnson, to me, comes across as like a wide forward because he was a forward before. So I don't know whether like pigeonholing him on the wing because he's fast. Because yeah, I was on paper. To be fair to Johnson, he has the attributes to be like a winger. He's fast. He's got, I'll not say quick feet, but he's like you'd think he'd be good on the ball. And obviously got Werner, who's fast-ish, but he's got no delivery. Son, who used to be a good winger, but now I think he's not good on the wing, in my opinion, unless you do something unorthodox, like I mentioned, with the front three that I would do. And then Decky, who was playing as a wing, and I think Ange probably saw him playing on the wing under Conte and thought, oh, I'm going to stick him on the wing. But the difference is in the Conte system is he wasn't really playing as a winger. He's playing more as an inside forward because the wing backs would play so far wide. It would give space for Decky and Son to play as inside forwards, essentially. Son got lots of that under Conte because he would drop into that forward position and Kane would drop off and Decky would cut inside across the ball and because he had more room to also roam. And I think, and that's the problem with our wing options. Like, some aren't really wingers, I don't even think. And this is why we have these debates every stream. Not exactly just yours, Adrian, but we go, do we have wingers? Do we play with wingers or do we play with forwards? Because I find a lot of our wingers or forwards cut inside a lot. Even Werner will drive down the line and I'll see him cut back, or Johnson will cut back. So is it down to the quality of the player, or is it down to instruction, or is it both, or is it
all teams do it? Football's very robotic. You see the same horseshoe football, and every team plays the same way. Apart from those that really sit back and play a low block and play on the counter, the better teams, they all play the same way. Possession-based football, they pass it out to the wing, it comes across the penalty area, goes down to the other wing, they bring it back, goes across the penalty area, they try and work a chance. But statistics prove the longer you ponce about doing that, the less chance you have of scoring a goal. More goals are scored from the centre of the penalty area into the box. 70% of goals are scored from there. If when you get there, you've moved the ball within about 30 seconds, right? And like, you might as well get the deck chairs out and a cigar and start smoking when we get to the opposing area because like, you know what's going to happen. It's going to go back.
No. Are we going to answer this question?
I I think have I not starred this? I've starred a few questions.
No. Well, I'm not. Well, I don't know. Hang
Oh,
on, let me have it.
And Tino Murner to mow your lawn. Well, no. Simply no. I mean, Johnson must. I mean, I've seen glimpses of him, and he has got good technique. No two ways about it. I've seen him with balls in different positions. Then, like, when you get players who do something quite flashy, very skillful, and then they do what they do, and there's no end product to it, and they lay it off to someone, or the next person they lay it off to, like, loses the ball or something like that, and they get them. And you see it a lot of times. I see him give defenders the slip down the wing, not right down by the corner flag. I've seen him do a few things in games. You've got that in your locker, have you? Why aren't we seeing a bit more of that? I don't know. Don't know if it's a confidence thing.
I think one of the problems is lack of confidence. I would say, just based on what I've seen, he just looks like a rabbit in headlights. I don't think he realizes where he is. Like,
he must be smashing it in training though, because usually if players are really hot and buzzing. I mean, Odebert got in the team. Why? He must have shown a lot in that training to come to the club, right, and get picked the first game you signed and straight in. All right. If it had been, Ronaldo or Messi coming, you would understand it. But he comes, not even starting on the bench. I didn't think he would start. I didn't know who would have picked Odebert to start against Everton. No one.
No, I didn't. To be fair,
no.
But don't you think Adrian's to do with the fact that we have obviously Richarlison was out, Solanke was out. We did have a lack of wing options, and I guess it's either him or Werner really down the left, wasn't it? You could argue because he put Kulusevski.
Well, yeah, possibly. And Sonny was up top,
so there wasn't really. I'm not saying he didn't deserve to start, by the way. I'm just trying to, it could be that. I don't know.
Yeah.
What happened?
I honestly think you're right because Sonny wasn't on the left, was he?
No, he was out front. Yeah.
And then what do you guys think? I mean, all of you can answer this. We can have a round robin. We've got at least an hour to kill. What do you think happens when Solanke or Richarlison is fit? Because Solanke wasn't being bought for that amount of money to sit on the bench, so he goes in as a number 9 because he presses and he's good at what he does.
Yep.
Right. I mean, I've seen more. I've got to be honest. I've seen more of Gray and Bergvall than I've seen of Solanke and Odegaard. And they've been in the Premier League, those two. And I've seen more of Gray in the Championship and more of watching Bergvall once we got him. Every time he was playing and watching, one game he was absolute crap, actually. But most games I've seen Bergvall, the two second halves he had against Bayern Munich, I thought were outstanding. He had such composure. And Gray actually got bullied in that first game against Bayern Munich in midfield. Second game, I thought he held his own, but he put up a much better fist of it in the second half. But Bergvall, to me, I thought, he's got stardust. I think he's definitely got stardust. That kid.
Big up JJ, by the way.
And I still haven't really, even though Solanke's got 19 goals. I didn't watch him last season. I didn't watch Odegaard last season. I mean, I'd go and drag the videos out when we got these guys in, but I already knew a fair bit about Bergvall and Gray. But I'll be honest, I still haven't seen a lot of Solanke. So, but when he's fit, okay, I'm slightly off track. So when he's fit, Phil, what happens with the Son Odegaard situation on the left? Does one of them go on the right, or does one get dropped and you still play Johnson on the right and you drop Odegaard? What do you do?
No, Johnson's an impact player for me. He has to come on. Where he can sort of affect games, but I think Sonny can still do it on the left. I still think he's got enough pace. I think the goal where Van der Ven passed it to him on the left, I think he can get in them situations where he can, he's got space to score. So I still think he can do a job there. It's got to be Solanke up front for me because he presses a lot. And that's a major thing in our system, in the way we play, the way Ange plays. So he's an important cog in the wheel. and then it's got to be owed a bit for me because he's the only one that sort of takes on his man with a little bit of pace and trickery, and we don't really have that in our team, and he brings something a little bit different. Do you know what I mean? He sort of scares defenders with his play, so it's just his end product he needs to polish up on, really. But yeah, that's the front three that has to play. That's the strongest lineup that we can field.
Hang on, just 1 minute. If you go to the next comment, Adrian, I'm sorry if that's a question. Do you want me to send the link, Jose, if he wants to come on?
Yeah, send him the link.
Jose.
Yeah.
I was going to land. Sorry.
No, sorry.
We were talking about Odegaard.
I think this Solanke thing is going to actually cause us a bit of a problem. And the reason I say this is because Sonny, whether people like it or not, scored most of his goals playing in the middle last season. And he was our top scorer with 17 goals. Are you really going to chuck him on the left wing and expect him to get the same output? It's just not going to happen. He's a year older as well. I don't know if you guys remember in that preseason game at Bayern Munich when he was running. And then suddenly he stopped because he realised the players caught up with him. It's a well and good he scored that goal with Van der Ven basically set him up. But that was like a short distance run, like a short burst. I think in short periods, he probably could do something on the left. I mean, say, for example, we're like 1-0 down or 2 in a game with like 20 minutes left. You can chuck him on the left because at least it gives you some sort of goal option. But I don't think Son and Solanke could work together in the same team in the style we play. If we did something a bit different and didn't invert the fullbacks and they said they played actually wide, then I could say, oh, maybe it could work because that will allow Sonny to play more inside. But because we invert the fullback, it's very congested.
It sort of has to work, though, doesn't it? Right? It has to.
Yeah, but that's only because we're going to pigeonhole him because he's a club captain onto the left-hand side.
Well, they haven't really had chance to play together yet. They've played.
They did in the first game.
Yeah, in the first game. Come on, let's give them a bit more.
He was a good account of himself in the first game on the left.
We need to give them a bit more of a sample size in just one game. They have to sort of have that chemistry, in 10 games, 15 games. So we need to give them a little bit more of a chance than just one game together, playing together. It's not their chemistry. It's just the fact that people are going to expect the same output out of Son, and he's going to be chucked on the left. He might be able to score the odd goal here and there. Is he a great cross of the ball as before? Probably not. Well, I think he does. I've seen him, crosses along the box and us getting on the end of them. I think I've seen him do that multiple times. It's just him not really in the areas where we can get him in dangerous areas.
You need Sonny in that middle part in and around the box or in the box to hit shots off. Unless you're going to tell Odegaard to play really wide and tell Sonny to tuck in, I will say that he's probably in the stage of his career. I think he's probably best suited up top in the middle.
But I still think he can still be effective on that left side, and I think Solanke, with his press, is so important to the way we play. And I think we should just. I think we're being a little bit premature. I think we should just give them at least 5 games, 10 games to see how this can sort of develop before we start saying that it is not going to work. But I do think I agree with this. Sonny is probably more effective up top, but to say he can't do a job on the left hand side is.
What do you define as just doing a job then?
I think. Yeah,
doing a job means he can be effective in games and get assists and goals from that.
Yeah. If you look at Ange's system, it's a high press game, right? 2 inverted fullbacks, 2 wide wingers that hug the touchline. I think fans are getting a bit too obsessed with this hugging the touchline. There's a reason for that. It's for when you break on a team and you get going. Once you've got the wingers have got the ball, it doesn't mean that they're going to stay on the touchline. That's not the point. They will cut in. You look at Sonny's goals, even in pre-season, he tends to cut in on the left, Look at how many goals he curls in from the left-hand side of the penalty area into the far corner of the goal. He will hit low shots and other shots as well. And he'll get the odd goal like the VDV breakaway goal like that where he'll slide one under a keeper. I mean, we're screwed without his goals because he's our best goal scorer with both feet. And he got
which is why I was emphasising the playing in the middle.
Well, yes, but my point is, I'm not arguing with your point. It's a valid point. But my debate on that is the fact that it's not the solution. The reason he's not the solution in the middle is when we're having a debate all last season. Oh, Sonny, play him in the middle. We get goals in the middle. Oh, Sonny. Oh, it doesn't work with him. He's getting bullied because of a low block. He's had a shit game. Play him out wide. We've got to cut this shit out. We've got a player that fits the hole, not a square peg in a round hole. And in a way through it, he's not a number 9. He's not built as a number 9. He can get bullied. He can still get pushed off the ball, but that happens when you're moving at speed. But he's an inside left striker.
For me, the solution to that, Adrian, is to play Decky as the 10 and play Decky as like a shadow striker to Son instead of like the traditional 10. Then you have Bissouma and Sarr just running the things in the background.
It all depends. It all depends on who we play as well, doesn't it? Really, do you know what I mean? Every team is different. So Ange may think differently to different sides that we play. So you might see Sonny, you might see Solanke on the bench sometimes and play Sonny against teams up top. That might happen for the season, but I think we should at least give Sonny and Solanke a try. It has to happen in my eyes.
You look at the roles, even when you look at the Everton game, what was good for which was pleasing to me, was actually Bissouma was coming back to get the ball off of Romero, right, and going forward and getting back. Maddison wasn't doing that, thank God, right? And you look at Maddison, he plays central or he drifts to the left. So he links up. So his link-up play with Odegaard, he was sort of marshalling, was good. He was making himself available for Odegaard. On the right-hand side, when Decky's in that false 10, false 9, 10, whatever hybrid you want to call him, right? He's then going to link up with Johnson, or he links up, and Decky's linked up very well with Porro in the past. So they've got roles in the pitch. You don't want them all crowding in. Even when your inverted fullbacks come forward, when they cut in, well, Udogie doesn't. He just seems to charge down the left like a tank. I think he's got the potential to be one of the best left backs in the planet, I really do. And Udogie, he's got such good technique. I mean, when he scores them goals with his foot, he blasted one with his right foot over it. But when he scores them goals, he's got such good technique. Still questionable a bit defensively. He's not perfect, but fans at Liverpool moan about Trent Alexander. Well, you can't have it all. Right, you can't have it all. I'd like to see Porro more as an 8, really.
Right, Adrian, I'm sorry to butt in.
Go on, no butt in.
Do you want to get through these starred comments? Because I expect a lot of them have left and gone to bed.
Have they? Yeah, we can work on them.
Well, that's what I mean. Because I expect a lot. Well, some of them went in about 2 hours ago.
Okay, we'll go through the first one then. Guys, comments on this.
I wonder
Go on, Mark. You can call it out if you want.
I wonder if Spurs make a late move for Morgan Gibbs-White as he didn't play the other night, and Forest are about to sign. Yeah, I thought they'd signed him. That Ward-Prowse from.
It's done, isn't it?
I'm sure that it's a loan
from West Ham.
I think.
Yeah, it's a loan from
It makes you wonder because I know Brian Daigle's been calling for Morgan Gibbs-White for the last few months. Like every show he's on, he's saying he wants Morgan to come in.
Isn't he just a number 9?
No, he's like a 10, I think, isn't he?
He's a cat.
Personally,
he's a 10. He can't play off the left as well.
Personally, he's the one that I would have bought instead of Johnson.
I don't think we're going to get anything done now.
I think we're signed either of you instead of Johnson, really. But
yeah,
we signed the right player.
But I don't think it's Spurs. I'm just trying to think who would want him and who would have. And he's not going to be cheap.
No,
You know, you're
Maybe
talking
like 60, 70 million probably at this point.
He-
yeah,
he's-
I'd say around the 50.
because you got to add the English tax. He's English, is that right?
Yeah, the English. Tax.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's English tax on that bit.
I mean, you could see. I mean, I don't know who Newcastle have got in. They haven't got Guay in, have they? Mark Guay in, and like they've got
No.
and didn't get them. You could see they've got the money to go for a Gibbs White. Would City go for him? Liverpool?
Probably not.
No,
So I mean, I don't know. Arsenal wouldn't. They've got their midfield sort. Chelsea, they could do with like a 27th midfielder, couldn't they? Probably.
yeah.
You know, so like, yeah. I mean, yeah. You never know. Lang has pulled free. Look,
Yeah.
we didn't know that Højbjerg were going. All the places we didn't know that Højbjerg was going to end up in Marseille. You know, we didn't know we were going to get Odegaard, and we only got Gray when it all fell through with Brentford, and we just jumped in quickly. And he obviously knows Spurs are a better club than Brentford to be with, so he came to us. So,
Well, I think Brentford had
Yeah,
virtually signed him. I think Brentford had virtually signed him, and then we poked our noses in, and he decided to come to us.
yeah, I think it was the payment structure. I think Brentford wanted to pay £1 a week or something, and a tenner down on £1 a week. And we were prepared to pay more. We were prepared to pay 20 quid.
But didn't Brentford want Brennan Johnson as well, though?
Well, knowing Daniel, it wouldn't be a lot more than £10 a week.
Yeah.
I don't know Gary Paul's speed. I mean, like,
No,
we've been linked with this Johnny Caldoza as well, which I watched the video and before we come on it today and had a look at him.
well, we've answered that question.
I'm surprised Ward-Prowse is left though. Just saying on that, because they signed that full crew who's a target man,
and all that,
He's quite good at
about
it.
us beginning for Ward-Prowse.
They signed someone else, didn't they? Carlos Soler from PSG.
Carlos Soler has gone to him
That's
as
why
well.
Ward-Prowse probably going because
All that about Spurs. Oh, we should get Ward-Prowse. We should get Ward-Prowse and all that. And I was never keen. And the reason I was never keen was because whenever Ward-Prowse made the headlines, it weren't for being man of the match. It's because he scored a goal from round a wall and a free kick. And I thought, well, okay, fine. You're good at that. What else do you bring to the game? How many games have you been man of the match for Southampton or just played well? He played well or whatever. He was never outstanding to me. Never.
I think he used to score against us. That's probably why.
Yeah.
I agree with that, actually. Adrian. It's pretty fair.
Right. Let's move on to the next hard question. Chris Peters' thoughts on Mopé leaving Everton on loan. Bad for Everton. I'd have thought Everton need all the help they can get, didn't you? But thoughts on Mopé, guys?
Nothing really.
I'm not. I mean, if he's leaving,
I haven't got good thoughts about Mopé, to be honest with you.
Well, wind up merchant.
If you ask me what I think of Mopé, then I think it's on. Yeah, it's another show, like so. Yeah, it's good for Everton. Put it that way.
Yeah, all he's done is made people notice more how bad he is. Right. Next question. Hi Peter, how are you? Mark Guay, 75 million move for Newcastle United. Mohamed Skinnerman signed for Newcastle and Jonas Bakoyoyo. Is that the winger at Feyenoord? Is he talking about
it's PSV? PSV
for Newcastle, Oliver Giraffe. He's having a giraffe.
I don't know who that even is.
Newcastle, right? They bought a giraffe. Someone's having a giraffe, aren't they? Right, that's Cockney rhyming slang, by the way. Alan. Giraffe having a giraffe, you're having a laugh.
Yeah.
So,
well. To be honest, there's giraffes up the road from me at Longley.
What do you think? Ange's changed from his fetish has changed from kangaroos to giraffes.
Possibly.
He likes. He's a leg man, yeah.
Well, yeah.
He's a leg man. Right. I don't know what to make of this Adira King. I don't.
Never
Sorry,
heard of
I
him.
had to
I
take
don't
the
understand
camera
the
off there. I
question,
was
that's why.
absolutely bawling my eyes out then. Yeah, go on.
I don't even know Mohammed Skinnerman is, because I'm so Spurs centric. I try to get all the information I can on Spurs every day, 24/7. Mark Guay deal, he's not moving. Palace have got
No.
money. They're not skint. They don't need to sell players.
No, their manager, whoever he is,
Glasner.
they showed some of the press conference on Sky Sports News when I was watching it, and he said no, he's not going, and that was it.
I don't know if it's Jonas, if that's correct, telling Bakoyo, or whether he means that Bakayoko. I don't
Who
know.
knows? Who knows?
You mean the one at Leverkusen?
Could be, yeah.
I don't understand the question.
I don't know.
No.
I'm confused. So
Move on to the next one.
yeah.
Okay. I don't know a giraffe called Oliver. Right. Is that new signing any good? I think he's a DM, right? Right, Alex, are you talking about Johnny
Cardoso, isn't it?
Cardoso.
Yeah, Cardozo's a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, he's American. He's got 15 Alan Gorn is 15 international caps, I think.
And is he good?
isn't he?
Oh, he's American.
Yeah, he's American.
Yeah.
American Brazilian. He's good.
Yeah. What I've seen, I watched the video of him today. Like, he's got a good medium range pass on him. He can tackle. He gets about the field. He's got stamina, energy. He don't appear to, but like, it's one of those. You've got to watch the guy like this play for 90 minutes, because when you're an unsung sort of hero in your team and you're like a midfield destroyer, you're not going to look sexy on a video, right? You're not going to like a sexy, skillful player. You're just not going to look like that, like,
Right.
And he doesn't look that, but he looks decent. But I'd need to see more of him. Like, personally.
Well, Alan's the main man to go to here. Have you seen a lot of him?
I've seen him before play for our national team.
Yeah.
And he's good. I mean, our national team's not amazing, so he's good.
Well, nor's ours.
On our national team, which isn't that great.
Well, nor's ours, to be honest.
By the way. Yeah. Have any of you watched? I did post the video in the 2 WhatsApp groups.
No, I haven't really seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, watch it though, because he is. I mean, like, he gets his foot in. I mean, he will break things up in midfield. He gets stuck in. He wins a lot of the balls and all that. It's nothing. And
he was up for Young Player of the Year, I think.
He hasn't got a bad a sort of lengthy pass on him. Not a massive crossfield pass, but I mean, a medium range pass he's got.
I think we'd have to sign him for me to like start watching videos of him and stuff.
But he's an option, you see, because apparently this deal is based on the fact that Lo Celso goes to Real Betis cheaper, and we get first dibs on this guy if we want him, and we get first dibs on him even if someone else comes in from him and we want him, and we offer the same amount of money. But I think we get a discount on him because we're going to give them a discount on Lo Celso. It's really
wasn't it something to do with the team that Lo Celso's going to? They can't give us what we want because of FFP. I'm sure that
it could be that, Mark. No,
yeah, I'm sure that had something to do with it.
They didn't want to pay any more than Spurs, and at first we said no, he's not going. Then we'll keep him for the final year and sign for someone for nothing in January. That's the option at the Spurs. We said no. Well, they've probably only offered about 5 mil. So we get, whether we buy him or not, in this deal, it's a weird deal. We get a percentage of the sell-on fee on him. We get a percentage of the sell-on fee. If Lo Celso's gone, which it has, it means we get a percentage of the sell-on fee on Johnny Cardoso, right? We get a percentage of that, whatever happens.
Mm-hmm.
But what I find weird about the deal, though, Adrian, what I find weird about it is that why not just go for him now? If we're that interested in him, why not just bring him into the squad now? Why do we have to wait until the end of the season to think, oh, actually, yeah, we are really interested in bringing him into the squad? I think you can do a job.
A good question. It's such a weird deal that I can't answer that. I mean, like, I mean, I don't. Maybe we're waiting. He's 22, I think. 22. Alan.
Yeah, he's 22. Yeah,
is he?
Something like that. Yeah.
I mean, he's a number 6 as well. So I mean, for Ange to sort of
22
go for a player in that sort of mould is going against his system really, because he doesn't play really with a number 6. So it's interesting.
That's obviously a Levy signing then.
Right. So, I mean, I've posted a video on a WhatsApp. Just go and look at him. Like, no, he looks like he could be a midfield destroyer. But like, then you got to look at the player and think, with our system, you got to be able to beat the press as well. And I haven't seen him under those sort of conditions. Like, next question, which is the last one. Then we go back to the Newcastle game again. Do you think Graham and Spurs GCT? Do you think Spencer's right back and Porritt right wing is something you would like to see?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I'd give that a go.
Yeah.
Not me, but go on, Phil. You in agreement, these three? I mean, you don't have to be. They didn't know nothing about Ferret.
No.
They knew nothing about them, or Elfsberg either. They knew nothing about them.
Hang on a minute.
To be honest, I'm not really for that. To be honest, I don't think Spence can play that inverted wing back role to me, and I think Porro. I think he's doing a really good job in that inverted fullback role at the moment. He's getting goals from a number 10 position where he can affect games, and to put him on the right wing, I think obviously his crossing ability is really good compared to our wingers, but I don't see him being that that effective on the right wing as he is at the moment in his position.
The question
I'd probably go against that.
The question must be asked though: is he going to be better than Brenda? He can't be no worse, surely.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, Porro, I mean, he's not. I wouldn't call him. I wouldn't say he's pacey. I wouldn't say he's a quick player. But he has got a delivery on him. And that's something we don't have in them forward areas. So, I just don't think he can get into the position and take on his man with a drop of the shoulder and get. I just don't think he'll be as effective as he is in his position now.
No. But
I think Odegaard is better in that position, and someone with a bit of trickery and who can take on his man and frighten defenders. That's what I want.
In emergencies, I'd do it. In emergencies,
I only see. I mean, I've said it for a while now. I see Porro more as a number 8. I mean, I don't see
number 8.
Yeah, I see him as a number 8. More, an attacking type midfielder. With then you could alleviate any defensive weaknesses in his players, an inverted fullback getting back so much. I mean, he'd still have to get back, but you would have a right back behind him, whether it be a Spence. I'd love us to get Vanderson, but that ain't going to happen in this window. He'd give us what Porro
30 minutes. But...
Yeah, well, yeah. So you never know, but So he's not a winger, is he? I mean, I understand why fans come out of this. I mean, we're like all fan bases when we want a solution. I mean, the reason he got suggested that was when fans were questioning what's best for Decky? Is he good enough? Let's get rid of him, blah, 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 and all that. And then you got this, we should play Porro on the wing. But we could do with another right winger, couldn't we? We're not going to get another right winger in. We could do with another one. But I think this is going to be very telling up to January. The sword of Damocles will be hanging over a few players' heads. Richarlison, Johnson especially. Werner, he's only going to get this year. We're going to upgrade. He's going to be gone, isn't he? The end of the season.
Then why bring him back in the first place?
Good question, Mark.
To be honest, for 165 grand a week.
Don't blame me for this.
No.
I was the same person who said, why are we paying 47 million with Adams for Brennan Johnson when he's not oven ready, when you can buy an oven ready player for that?
Also, in that window, he could have gone to Brentford for 30 million.
Or you could have got Odebert. Yeah, he would have been 18, but still better, right? Or whatever. No, he would have been younger still. He'd have still been at PSG, wouldn't he? Yeah.
We have still got that. That is it. Hook.
Mikey Moore.
Yeah. No, the Chinese kid.
Yeah, Yang Min Hook.
The South Korean kid. Yeah, Yang Min Hook. Yeah.
Yang Min Hook.
He looks a promising player. He looks a bit like Odebert, who can take on his man. And
what I like about him in his league, he's a winger who scores goals. Thank Christ.
And he comes in January as well, doesn't he? Halfway through the season. So we'll see what happens with him.
And we got Vaskovic as well. I mean, like coming from Dorrington should be fit by Christmas.
Next season, isn't it, Vaskovic?
Yeah. I mean, so we're looking good in the defensive department. We need a left back though. We still need a left back. And on that, I mean, guys, talking about Newcastle, my concern is left back, because even in pre-season when players only get half a game each, that's fine. It gets your sort of fitness levels up, but you don't get your match sharpness. And I've got to be saying, I just think, I know you Doggy is just come back from injury, so he hasn't had a proper pre-season. But he's not been on.
I'm sorry, Adrian. Just butting. Good night, Graham.
Oh, good night, Graham.
Yeah.
Good night, Graham, mate. Thanks for coming. Yeah. So your Doggy's not been on point, and Sar's not been at it either, is he? To be fair, although he hasn't been picked recently, and he will get his chance. I like the player, but he's another one. I think Sar's got to add a bit more bite to his game. What do you think about you Doggy and his fitness, especially as he's probably definitely going to start tomorrow? And Newcastle, when they destroyed us last year, it was pace on the wings, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
they do have a lot of players missing to injury, I believe.
Is this some of their defenders?
Is some of them and Bentcock, because at least you have two players who can sit a little bit to try and help.
What do you? Like
Callum Wilson's out.
You Doggy's got to be on point tomorrow against Newcastle, and so has Porro as well. I've got no worries with VDV and Romero.
I'd like to think that they've been playing Jacob Murphy on the right wing. So I'd like to think Odogie can sort of cope with Murphy on that side. I said on the last stream, I said that Odogie hasn't really been up to speed. But these are the type of games you need to throw him in, because he needs to get match fit. He needs to start playing in these games. The only way he's going to get back to best is by playing football. So,
did you watch the Newcastle game? I did. Like the draw.
You mean last week's Newcastle game?
Yeah, the draw game with Bournemouth, wasn't it?
That was on Sunday earlier. That was the early one, wasn't it? Sunday.
Yeah, 1-1, wasn't it?
Bournemouth. Yeah.
Once they got the goal, they pressed. But what did you take from the game? I know what I took from it, but what did you guys take from it?
I thought Newcastle looked shaky. There were spells in that game where Palace was all over them. I thought there's only one winner here, and
Bournemouth wasn't it?
Yeah, Bournemouth. Sorry, Palace. What am I on about? Newcastle don't look themselves, to be honest. To me, anyway. I can't see what the problems are, but I know they've got a few injuries.
They're a physical team.
Yeah.
Joe Linton, Dan Burn, Bruno Gomes. They're a more physical team. I will say that about Spurs. When we play physical teams, sometimes we tend to buckle under that pressure because, maybe Romero can kind of mix it up, but a lot of our players don't do that great when they're challenged physically like that.
Yeah.
So, and I remember that's how it was when we played Newcastle last year.
They bullied us.
What's that?
They bullied us last season.
Yeah, they bullied us.
No,
So,
he
I'm
give us
hopeful
the
that-
run around, didn't he?
He tore us
Mhm.
apart.
Yeah.
It
But
was all
back
them.
then, I was lost, didn't he?
I mean, if I recall the last season's game, there were so many loose passes in midfield given away. I mean, someone like Bergwijn, who's got composure on the ball, would have been ideal to stop that, like the effect he had against Bayern in both second halves when he came on. He had that composure, didn't he? And like he wasn't like he didn't let the press bother him at all. Like so, you know, I mean, I just hope that you doggies on point tomorrow, and you know, what's it? 1:30 kickoff, isn't it? It's early kickoff. Isn't
1:30 Sunday. Yeah.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's 2:00, isn't it? Is it 2:00?
No,
Because it's
1:30.
normally 2:00 and 4:30.
It's 1:30 and 4:00, I think. On
Yeah.
Sunday.
Because the late one is Man United Liverpool, and they don't want them all in the pub. Like,
Mm.
they got half an hour less in the pub.
So,
If we lose
I
the
mean,
Newcastle game, I probably won't watch the United game. So
Yeah,
I mean, I think Ange will go the same way. I just think he'll go with the two wide wingers again. He'll go for pace.
Mhm.
I think
Hopefully
he'll pick the
they're the
same
ones
team.
that get the advantage with the pace, which means I think Johnson will play. I think he plays.
God.
No, I just think, yeah, but I would pick him. And it may be that, like I think Alan said or whatever, it's just exactly the same team. They won 4-0. If the back
Doesn't change it
might be a
much
future
at
way
all.
to go, and which means Bentancur is on the bench, which is a good player to bring on. Sar's on the bench, he's a good player to bring on. You know,
I'm not being funny,
Adrian,
Dave, but
he makes his changes so late. Like, someone takes us to go 2 or 3-0 down for him to do anything.
yeah.
If we go 1-0 down at half time, is he going to change something straight away? I don't know.
And
Thinking about it, he may play Sart on Sunday because of his
Engine.
Physicality.
purely because of his energy and his engine. Yeah, I think the midfield is where it's going to be, where the game's going to be won, because they're a battle in midfield. They get stuck in with Guimaraes and Joe Linton, so we need sort of a lot of runners in there. A lot of Bentancur, I think, should play because of his tenacity in
So would you
midfield.
chuck all three of them? Bentancur, Bissouma, and Sarr. Chuck all three of them in.
Well, I think we
Well,
at least
interesting.
need to.
well, that means you got to leave out Matters then.
well,
Yeah, I mean-
interestingly, what Phil's saying there, in at least 2 of the pre-season games, consecutive games, he started with Bissouma, Sarr, and Maddison. They were his 3. In 2 of the games, he started with those 3. Now, we don't quite know what the situation with Sarr is, whether he's had a slight knock or whatever. But he was left out at the Everton home game, and that to me was a bit of a surprise, because I thought after watching them pre-season games with those 3 playing, I thought he'd go with them. But you never know what he sees in training. But Ange did also say that, I mean, let's not believe that it's just going to be a first 11. Ange did say we'll pick a team that he thinks will win a game.
Yeah.
Well, it worked against Everton, right? Whether you agree Everton were good competition or not, it worked. Will he go the same way against Newcastle? Will he go because it's Newcastle? Now, if it was like, if we were playing the likes of, I don't know, Forest away, would he go all out attack? But because it's Newcastle, will Decky find himself on the right wing instead of Johnson? And
Well, let's hope so.
you could put Sarr in midfield. We would be a lot tighter in that formation at Newcastle. But, fortune favours the brave. What do you think? Do you think he's just going to go gung-ho there? Or do you think because it's Newcastle, he'll be a bit more conservative or a little bit?
I don't think conservative in his managerial style.
Yeah.
I don't think conservative is Postecoglou. I think he just plays the way he plays, and that's it. We're yet to see him sort of change his starting lineup for the actual team he's playing. He just goes with what he knows, and there's no change in it.
This is why I don't expect him to change the team he played with Everton against Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it, like in my personal opinion, I probably would play just 3 workers in that midfield, just to stifle them, and not actually play a number 10. I would sort of play 3. Just
he only did that in one game last season, I think, didn't he? In one game he played. Who was he playing away from home? Who was it? Do you remember?
It was obviously when Matters was injured.
Yeah,
he played all
was.
3 of them. He played Højbjerg, Bentancur, and who else it was, but he didn't play with the 10 for one game, I remember. But
yeah, so it could happen, but he very rarely does that. If he's got like Maddison to choose from, he very rarely goes to sort of like just normal central midfielders in there instead of a creative.
Do you think it's a bit different with Newcastle, because like has made a good point there, when Leicester teams come to play with us, they haven't got a number 10. So they've usually got an extra body or 2 in midfield, and that's when we come unstuck and get bullied. When we don't win, when we ain't playing our football, when we can't be flat track bullies, and we don't seem to be able to mix it. I've seen teams bully us, and do you think that is our main weakness? I think it's our main weakness is the fact we let ourselves be pushed around when we shouldn't. We should get stuck in, get a yellow card. I don't give a shit, but get a yellow card. Get in there, like let them know we're not having this shit, right?
There are a lot of games.
Rely on that, right? Teams that aren't good rely on that.
There are a lot of games.
Sorry, go on.
No, there are a lot of games when we just get completely overrun in the midfield. Like plenty of games. I mean, you only got to look at the game against like Arsenal last year. We were completely overrun, and this is when the teams sussed out how to beat us. They just stuck an extra person in there. We got completely overrun in midfield. And
it shouldn't happen. I mean, Basuma is statistically our best passer, believe it or not. He's our best pass. He's got something like 90% pass success rate. His pass rate. This is why you see why Ange really likes him, because he must see that in training as well. But he's got to reproduce that early season form from last season.
Yeah.
To be honest,
the
season started. To me, I mean, I know he's done all right against Everton, but to me, he's got to earn at the club by January. I think there's a few players like that.
Yeah, to be honest, to use your phrase, Adrian, that sword of Damocles, I think he's one of the ones that is hanging over.
Yeah. He can't just be a flash in a pan player here and there.
Yeah.
But you could argue Maddison's the same as well, because he was good 10 games last season, and that was it, really.
I think in the first 2, I was saying about the last stream, I think Maddison, the last 2 games, is he's sort of getting back to his best in my eyes. But we'll have to see.
I'm holding off on Basuma. Still, middle of the season, see how they're like.
Yeah.
The biggest threat to Maddison probably has to be. It could be.
Well,
it could be Bergvall, because at least with Bergvall, he's 6'2". He's not. So is Gray, but like he's not a lightweight number 10. If you play him as a number 10 or in midfield anywhere, Bergvall, because he's adaptable. He's not a lightweight. He won't get pushed off the ball like Maddison does, and he can tackle and get the ball back, which Maddison, we know he's not the best defensively. That's why he's allowed to be up the front, central and left midfield as well. Is his space, right? Now, you don't crowd other areas of the field unless like there's good reason to go there, right? So, I mean, like Maddison, he hasn't looked too bad pre-season, to be honest. But
in the first 2 games, I thought he's played well. He's got 2 assists. But I think we'll learn a lot more about Basuma and Maddison this season than any other season, because that they sort of have to be consistent this season. I don't think there's any excuses for them now.
The next two games, we're going to learn an awful lot about this team. Newcastle and obviously that lot down the road.
Well, the next 5 or 6 with the fixtures that are coming up. I mean, we'll learn a lot about this team, definitely.
In these 2 games as well, I was a little bit concerned about, Porro's fit, according to Ange, that's good. He's took a couple of whacks in his last 2 games, and I thought if anyone doubtful it might have been him because he did take a bit of stick in those games.
I think he's one of
I
our
love
most
his
important players.
enthusiasm. Sorry?
I think he's one of our most important players because no one really talks about Porro. But if he goes down, I think we have a massive problem on that side. Because at least on the left, I'm not saying he's the best option, but at least you could shift Van der Ven or you could put Davies there. Like on the right, who do we have? I'm happy Emerson's gone, but who would you stick on the right back if Porro gets injured?
Spence?
Well, it has to be Spence, isn't it? But I mean, that's the only sort of option that we've got. But I don't think he's the answer, to be honest with you. In an inverted wing back role, I don't think he's the answer. If he was a wing back in a contact system, or maybe he'd be able to do a better job. But inverted,
I think with
think
Spence, he's been given like a second chance. Really, if he comes in and he's awful again, it's just like, well, we just wasted.
Dragerson could play right back, but I'm not sure he'd be an inverted back going up and down.
I don't think Andrew put him there. He's not the kind of manager to put.
No, it'd have to be an emergency,
Yeah.
But we know there's still holes in the squad. We definitely need another left back.
Are we going to talk about the transfer window? Like,
do we want to talk about the transfer?
Well, I don't know. Well, it doesn't look like we're signing anybody. We still have 19 minutes.
Yeah, about 18 minutes to go. And
let's quickly have a look.
Well, what do you Phil? What do you think of our transfer window? We brought in 6 players, 2 kids. We brought in Yang Min Hook and we brought in George Feeney, whose dad played for I think Sheffield United or something like that back in the day. But then the other 4, well, Bergvall was already coming in. You got Gray 40-odd mil, Odebert 30 mil, we're told 70 mil, and Solanke we've had on 60, 65 mil. So we spent 135 mil. It might be more or less with add-ons, but we're in that field, has his theories and Mark's theories. You could have got 2 £65 million players for that, but we got one in Solanke, right? What do you think of the incomings?
Well, time will tell, won't it? This season, with these younger players like Gray and Bergvall, I'm going to assess this window at the end of this season. I'm not going to put a rating on it now because you have to give these players a chance. But with Solanke, I think he fits the way we play. But is he going to be our 25+ goal a season man up front? Time will tell, but I have more reservations about it. What are the other players? Bergvall, Gray, Solanke. What were the other ones again?
Odebert.
Odebert. I mean, he's another young player that's promising. I like the way he plays. He's a bit of a throwback winger. Like a little bit like Aaron Lennon. He reminds me of dropping the shoulder, but obviously his end product needs to improve.
His stats, for those that don't know, are virtually identical to Nico Williams.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad metric to go off, but I mean, the window, I expected a few like seasoned pros, some good quality players sprinkled with the youngsters that we brought in as well, just to sort of like, because Ange said that we were challenging this season. I actually thought that he would go into the market and put us into that bracket of challenging, but it's sort of I'm underwhelmed about the transfer window because of Ange's comments, and it hasn't sort of lived up to what he said. But I'm not gonna say the transfer window is gonna be it's not gonna work, because these youngsters may come good, but it's just gonna be a long process, isn't it?
But then again, they might not. They might not.
Yeah. Alan,
well, from what I've seen so far with Bergvall,
I was talking to Mark earlier about this morning when we were on the phone, when we have our weekly phone call.
Yeah.
And I was saying, like, unless, right, to me, you bring in an established Premier League player. By that, I mean one that's got at least 2 seasons under his belt. So you know that he's, the risk assessment is done. You know, they're pretty safe signing. You're not going to foul and you're spending whatever you spend on them, right? Because you know you're getting what you want. Other than that, though, any other player you bring in, whether they're cheap and people say, oh, they're cheap or they're expensive, if they're a foreign player, you don't know if they're going to perform in the Premier League. Many have come and failed with big price tags.
Yep.
And here, just how many then? Because I was asking people, in my group and things like that, we'll say, well, name the Premier League players that we need, that you want, that are available, that we can get. And like, we were never going to get Branthwaite, were we, for 70 or 80 million, right? I don't care. If it's good. That's too overpriced, right? Gibbs White didn't seem to be on Angie's list. Conor Gallagher was probably his first choice transfer on the list. Then we're linked with a few centre backs. We're linked with the centre backs at Wolves. We're linked with Guehi. We're linked with Chalobah. Other player. I mean, who was there out there that, like, Premier League proven, established, that we could have brought into the club?
I thought maybe Eze could have come in. I would have been happy with Eze because he was kind of versatile. Versatile. We could have played him on the wing. Well, for situations just like this with Solanke. Then who do we play on the wings? We could have played Eze on the wing instead of Johnson. So I think having some versatility like an Eze would have been good. And I think that's what was missing is it was definitely not a sexy window this time around. It was it wasn't sexy at all. And it was sort of, I was deflated in that I was hoping to get some transfer business done early, some, a signing or two, a statement signing early to show that Andrew's being backed. And I don't think we got that, which makes me nervous about the future. Anyone but Johnson, yes. It makes me a little concerned that Ange isn't going to get backed the way we need him to be backed. And I don't know who that's coming from. Is that we're used to saying it's Levy, but is it Levy? Was Levy super involved this window, or was he not?
He signs off. He signs off on the deals. The way it works, I mean, any fan out there for any club who thinks their chairman and board are going to give the manager an open paycheck to go and spend whatever transfer funds they want, who they want, is living in cloud cuckoo land. It doesn't happen that way. My understanding of what I've been told is, like, Ange will want a player, for example. He'll go to Johan Lange. You then got Frederick Leff at a strategy. You've got the head coach there. You've got George. You've got McKenzie. You've got the team coach we got from Bayern Munich, Max Leggett, and all that. So you've got a committee. It's done on a committee basis. I'm guessing what happened with Eze was that we approached Palace, and we'd already spoken with Eze. We'd seen him at Palace at Arm. They had boxes at Spurs ground. They would have been touched up, by intermediaries. That always goes on, right? And he was probably willing to come, right? But no player's going to break their contract and lose all their bonuses and stuff like that. That's what happens, right? So you got that situation, and then Palace have turned around and said, well, we want all the money up front, or as Mark said, we want 50 mil up front. Then he'd gone back to Levy, and Levy's then probably said no. That's what I'm guessing. No, not 50 mil up front. I think we only put 30 mil down on Solanke. Some say it might be a bit more, a bit less, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was less than that, right? 25 maybe, or something like that. So I think there is a budget, and you can see what's been happening from Levy down. It is get these wages off my payroll first. Get them off. The onus seems to be with Spurs. Get players off the wage bill. I mean, getting players off the wage bill. I mean, you take the beginning of last season, you got Kane off the wage bill, Dyer off the wage bill, and Ndombele off the wage bill, Lloris off the wage bill. They're probably only Dyer might be on under 100 grand a week out of those. Kane will be on nearer 200. the money those four saved probably played for Wim Hook and George Feeney and maybe half of Archie Gray. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the way I see it happening. I get when people want to blame Levy for it. He is in a sense that, like, where's your ambition then? Why can't we pay? Because I said to Mark, I still believe that we got about 60 million we could have spent in this window. I still believe we have, right? But it ain't been spent. So I'm not sticking up for the club. I do a critique on what I see. How I see it, I'll call it, you know. So I'm not happy with the window, right? Not like this. You know, we've got a glaring hole on the left side of our team, left centre back, and I'd have loved an Hincapi. He would have fixed both positions for now. At least if you can't fix all, then make sure you've got players in that can cover it. They might not do it the best, but make sure you can cover it. And if Udogie gets injured, I'm concerned more than Van der Venk. I mean, Davies can play at centre back. He proved he can do a good job alongside Emerson Royal last season. He did a good job. He's in his last year, but we should be planning for a future without him. In this window, we should have been planning for a future without him, right? And if it meant going to Leverkusen, who've got Tar and Tapsoba anyway, and apparently Hincapi wants to leave. Look, he's won a title in Germany. He's a bit more ambitious now. He probably thinks, I wouldn't mind trying the Spanish League or the Premier League, and he'd get more money with us than he would with them, right? Then we should have gone to him and said, look, mind you, then you see, I don't know if Ange, then you do still got to go back, although you've got a committee decided on. So if you can't get Ange's first signing in, because he won't come, he's got Champions League football, he don't want to leave the country. Some players are just happy where they are. Look at Son. He's not left Spurs, is he? Right? Yeah. So you might get that situation whereby, like, okay, a player's not coming. So now you've got your next 2 or 3 on your list, right? Barring any opportunities come along, because suddenly an opportunity comes to sign so-and-so, and you really rate him. Yeah, we'll have him. You know, I think that's what happened with Gray. But, yeah, so it's more of a committee that decides, and then Ange will say, yeah, out of those 3 you've got, I'd rather have him first or him second, right? And then because he can't get his number 1 in, right? But then the signing off is, they're all club signings at the end of the day, and the fact that the club pays the money and Levy signs off the check. Yeah. But Scott Munn, he's there as the administrator to run that side of it, while Levy gets involved in, like, building hotels and redeveloping Tottenham, the Haringey area, you know what I mean? So, like, while he's busy doing that, you know, probably get a timeshare in Tottenham, guys. Right? You know what I mean?
Just a bit of transfer news concerning.
Oh, hang on.
A bit of transfer news concerning our teams in our group in the Europa League. Zaha's gone to Lyon, and Manu Kone has gone to Rome from Mönchengladbach in Germany. So Roma have sort of strengthened there, and Galatasaray have weakened with Zaha going the other way. So Perisic has gone to Como with Fabregas's team. That's about it, really.
There's nothing on Tottenham.
Nothing on Tottenham, no.
No.
Osimhen's going to Chelsea now, either.
No Klinsmann or Van der Vaart, no.
I'll be right back.
Unfortunately not, no.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know what your views are on how transfers are done, but there's a group. These are group decisions, because it's less of a risk if you do it by a group. If the majority of the group are in agreement on the quality of the player or the player that fit a hole, you know. I mean, but then, like, Levy's still got to sign it off. Or unless he just says to Scott Munn, that's your transfer budget. Every player you sell and what you save on wages, you can put into the transfer fund. We have spent money. I mean, in theory, we've spent 130, 140 mil, you know, but we've saved a lot of money in wages. Some of it, I mentioned the 3Bs that left, they left in last year's financial contract, but we still saved a lot of money for when this new year starts anyway, you know. So yeah. I'm not having it the fact that we can't. My biggest gripe is, without going in a meltdown like Brian Daigle will after the window shuts, like, and I don't blame him, but my biggest gripe with the club on this, why my angst is because I believe we should spend the maximum amount of money we can afford to spend it in a transfer window if we need to. Now, I know we've got rid of loads of players now, and so we won't have this situation coming in the January window, which is poor because it's only open for a month. And if clubs know you're desperate for a player, they only hike the price anyway. But so now there'll be no excuses for getting players out because I expect Lo Celso's gone and I expect Reguilón will be going anyway. If not, he'll be kept, not registered with the squad. And
Lo Celso's gone.
He'll sign a free contract in January if Reguilón hasn't gone. But Man United and Brentford were looking for a left back. So were Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, and Besiktas were looking for a left back as well. There were 6 clubs that were rumoured to be interested in him, and he's left-footed. So bit of a rarity. If not, if we kept him, it wouldn't be the end of the world as we got rid of everyone else because he is left-footed. And who knows? Spence turned it around. Who knows? He might prove to be cover for Davis.
Adrian, the thing is with this transfer window, right? The thing is with this transfer window is I just want a bit of clarity on what the plan is.
There is no plan, Phil. That's
from the actual club itself. From the director of football or even Ange coming out and telling the fan base what the actual plan is. Going forward, because from what I can see is they're bringing in players for the future, and we can't really compete now with the teams that are higher than us at the moment. So
we hope they're going to hit the ground running.
Maybe when Pep Guardiola's not here, they're thinking about that and trying to take over then in the next 2 or 3 years' time.
Yeah.
But I just want a bit of clarity.
Well,
I just want a bit of clarity, really.
There was a plan. Mark summed it up nicely. There was a plan. The player really wanted, first player we wanted before the transfer went on was Conor Gallagher, right? We didn't get him. I didn't want him. A lot of fans didn't want him. Some did, right? Plays for England. He's not a bad footballer, right? He just wasn't a sexy footballer for Spurs fans, right? We didn't get him. What did Ange want before the window? Well, through Ali Gold and other press reports, he said, we want a wide player and a centre forward. Well, we've got them in Odegaard and Solanke, right? But that's not enough.
No. Didn't Ange say he was a centre back before the window opened, though?
It's not enough.
I'm sure he said that.
And we knew Bergvall was coming, so getting Gray in. Listen, I like Gray. I like him. I think, but again, as I said to Mark, none of these players, Gray and Bergvall, have done 90 minutes yet. They haven't played a 90-minute game, and they're 18 years old. They're both 6'2", and we don't know if their bodies are 18. If you stand pitchside and watch one of these games being played at 100 miles an hour, and a kid's got to run X amount of kilometres during the game, even VDV said when he switched to left back to cover how hard he found it, because you don't have to do them gut-busting sprints, the Olympic sprints for the 100 metres. Like, how many times does he do it during a game? He has to close down people. But when you're an inverted fullback or wing back, you've got to constantly up and down, up and down, up and down. That takes stamina. I mean, like, and like, I don't know. We don't know if Gray and Bergvall have got. They'll do all the fitness and they'll do all the stuff at training, but during a game and we don't know. I mean, I think they'll be fine, but how long are we going to have to wait? Are we going to have to wait, or are they going to hit the? Or when we do utilise them, when Ange decides to utilise them, are they going to impress?
Problem is, Adrian. But this is the problem, Adrian. We signed one first-team player, which we basically debated just now whether he's going to start or not because of the Son situation. We signed Werner, who was crap last season, and he's not even played the minute this season yet anyway. And he couldn't hit a barn door. So we wasted a foreign squad place right there and then. Then we signed a few youngsters who you've just told me we don't know if they're going to hit their ground running. We don't think they're going to be good. Okay, we got rid of the dead wood. But then you could reflect on that in a different way. I think because of our recruitment, I mean, Solomon was here last season. He's been sold. So because of our recruitment constantly is not good enough, we're in this cycle where we have dead wood every couple of years we have to get rid of. some have stayed longer than others, obviously with Lo Celso and Ndombele, because there was such high fees that Levy wanted to get some value back from them in some sort of way. Obviously, in the end, he didn't, because in reality, we need to give, and I'm not saying the 18-year-olds we signed, by the way, we need to give these first team players we signed 2 years. If they don't do it in 2 years, and above like 24, 23, 24, and they hit 26, they're still not doing it, then get rid of them, because this is the reason why we lost so much money on Ndombele and Lo Celso, because we kept them for like 5 years. Instead of saying after Mourinho, because after Mourinho, I was ready to cut ties with half that team, probably more than that. Dyer, they'd been there way too long. We tried the Dyer experiment at centre-back. It obviously didn't work. But we had Ndombele and Lo Celso, who you easily could have sold in that summer, that after Mourinho left in the Nuno summer, and got something back from them, maybe 30 million, something back from them, more than we got now. It's because we hold on to these players to try and hope that they're good. And the problem with waiting with these youngsters 2 or 3 years is that by the time 2 or 3 years comes, with the rumours, for example, of Romero going to Real Madrid, he'll go, let's say. Van de Ven's been eyed up.
Circle, isn't it? It's like a vicious
Van de
circle
Ven
where
has been eyed up with Man City. I'm sure he might get fed up and go.
Well,
so then he fixed one problem. Let's say he fixed one problem.
and
then you got another problem at the back.
1 step forward, 2 steps back.
I'm a bit more. Look, I'm a bit more confident whether Romero will go or stay. Like the Reese, he stayed.
But you were the one who told me that he's got 2 years left now.
He's got 3 years left. No, but if he got to 2 years and he didn't sign a new contract, then you sell him.
Yeah, but then we lose our
player that gets down to that level, because you're not going to let them get down to 1 and then leave on a 3. I mean, you don't do that. It's just bad business.
But Adrian, I'm saying you're the one who told me he's going to have 2 years left after this season, right?
Yeah, he will. Yeah.
Right. So if we sell him this next season because we didn't win anything this season, he wants to go, then we have to go and buy another centre back.
But what if he's like, on the other end, he might be a bit like Son. He's won the World Cup. He's won 2 Copa Americas. Lloris won the World Cup, never left. Why Lloris never left us, I don't know. Great goalkeeper. He could have left, but he liked it. If Romero likes it, he's already said he's happy at the club. He likes it at the club, right? Likes the fans and that. So he may think, well, I want to stay. Or he might go. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's in his head.
I'm saying you're the person who told me, and if he's got 2 years left and he doesn't want to sign it, we should sell him.
I would. Yeah, I would do that to any player.
But then why selling him, Adrian? You're creating another problem. That's what I'm trying to tell you, because we didn't win something this season, so he has no centre to stay.
You would create a problem selling, replacing someone of his quality. But we're pretty well stocked with centre halves coming through, and Phillips and Dorrant and Vuskovic.
Some more for the future.
But again,
but by the end of next year, one of them might be ready. Like. Yeah.
No.
But then again, you might. But then again, and also, if you're selling Romero you're selling him next year. Let's play with this, right? You're selling Romero next year. What do you expect to get for him? Who's going to buy him?
I just said Real Madrid because obviously they were
right. Okay, to replace Sergio Ramos, right? Okay, how much?
I'm going to say 80 million, 90 million, maybe. I don't know.
Bit cheap, I think, in my opinion. What do you guys think? What do you think it would go for?
Romero.
100. Yeah.
I'll say about 80 million.
Can I have my say on the transfer window?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Of course you can.
I had my rant just now, sorry.
Yeah, no. A rant is fine. But this transfer window has been a major wasted opportunity. We are the kings of FFP. We've got all this income coming into the stadium now. You know, we're the 8th richest club in the world. Do we act like it? No. Would Man City go out and buy, or the teams above us, any of them, would they go out and buy Archie Gray? No. They would get someone in as a ready-made improvement to their team.
Brought back Gundogan, don't forget.
Yeah, but they go out and buy ready-made players for their team that are going to improve them. Right, that's difficult with Man City. But you only got to look at, now I'm not going to say their name, but the lot down the road, they knew they needed a defensive midfielder. Oh, hang on, who's the best person for this? Oh, Declan Rice. How much is he? 100 million. Boom. There you go. Do we ever do that? No. No, we don't. No. We are just fed a load of nonsense, a load of dreams that never come true, and it's kick the can down the road. Because that's all this transfer window is just kick the can down the road. Because can you actually, no, truthfully, can any of you actually see us winning anything this year?
Yeah, I can see us winning domestic cups or Europa League. I can see that. Yeah, we won't win the league. Best we could do is probably finish third, and that's probably if Man City have loads of points deducted when they're finally stuffed. You know, that's about the best.
There's no guarantee with that, though.
You win 6 games, you can win the League Cup. 6 games, you can win.
But you just said we're going to rest players against Coventry, though, in the League Cup.
Well, yeah, but the point is with no, not rest. I'm not talking about resting players. I'm looking at the game against Everton. The 9 that are on the bench, without Bentancur and Solanke are injured. That's 11 players. So now you're picking a team to play. Now you might change 2 or 3. That's a lot stronger than going against Fulham last year. A lot stronger, in my opinion.
No, what I'm saying, but what happens if, as predicted, as from previous managers as well, and last season, we rest a whole host of players as normal in the cup?
Okay, well, who's your 11 then? What's the worst 11 you could pick out of the Spurs squad?
Johnson,
your worst 11. Johnson and Werner. Go on. Johnson and Werner, right? Yeah, go on. Up front. Who's playing on the 9? Come on, this will be fun. Come on.
Johnson and Werner at the back.
Davies at left back, yeah. Forster in goal, yeah. Spencer's got to play, isn't he, right? Centre back, right. Tricky.
Dragusin will probably play, won't he?
Dragusin would play.
You'd like to think
Davies,
so.
Dragusin, Davies,
Forster in goal.
Spence, and someone else.
Yeah, Spence on the left wing because he's not a left back.
That's left wing.
Okay, so now
left wing is the same thing.
If you've got Spence and Davies, if Davies is playing at left back and Spence is playing at right back,
who's playing centre back with Dragusin?
Who's your centre backs with Dragusin?
Dorrington when he's fit, maybe.
He's not fit yet. He's still recovering from his bad injury. Yeah, good player though. Good on the ball. Good baller centre back.
I mean, Phillips is obviously on loan, so.
Yeah, Phillips. Well, he was not. People say, why don't you keep Phillips in the squad? Well, you got Dragusin. Phillips wouldn't get no games if he was with the squad.
Archie Gray played there in pre-season.
Yeah, Archie Gray's definitely got to play at centre back, isn't he?
So who got left in midfield? Sarr, Bergvall, Gray, and maybe someone else. I don't know. And then you got Johnson, Werner, and someone else. I don't know, Richarlison, I guess.
Yeah.
So even then,
you got Lancashire as well.
I mean, it's a bit amusing on the fullback situation, but it's not awful, and it's still better than Fulham last year, I reckon.
I don't think so. With the wide options you just told me.
No.
With Werner and Johnson, I mean, like.
No.
I think Rich would be probably starved of supply to play.
And so the window is now officially closed. We've signed nobody. We've signed nobody apart from like a bunch of kids and one first team starter. You can't tell me that's good enough. That's going to improve us. I
was looking back at our windows back in 2004, 2005, and I think there were better windows than this.
Right, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to end the show. We'll chat in the back room. I want to thank those of you that had the trouble to keep up with us for 3 hours until the window shut. Thank you for that. I want to thank all my guests. They know who they are. I'm not going to name them by name. And thank you for your support. Thank you for your questions, those that asked us questions. And let me go down to Brand here. I'm going to end the stream and play us out. Oops, I've gone end stream before I played that.